Hi there, welcome to Two Birds. I'm Fiona, and today's class is designed to bring about a feeling and state of rejuvenation in your body, with a particular focus on releasing tension or congestion in your hips and your shoulders, so you feel a little lighter, brighter and more buoyant in your body. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for joining. Namaste. And begin your practice in a comfortable cross-legged seat, propping yourself on the edge of a blanket so your knees can relax down, and taking your hands to your thighs or your knees and turning the palms face up, just placing yourself in a receptive position, gently closing your eyes. And then just taking a few moments to check in with yourself and how you're feeling as you begin your practice. Welcome yourself to your mat with a smile, and even if you're feeling congested or less well rested, so much of yoga is about tuning into the subtle signals that our body is continuously giving us so we can make all those necessary adjustments to stay healthy and find balance, ease and clarity. So just welcome yourself here. Welcome all that's showing up for you with mindful awareness, and dedicate the next part of your practice to rejuvenating yourself, moving slower or resting along the way if you need to, just restoring your own range of motion and sense of center, so you can be of service to yourself and those around you. And begin to breathe a deeper breath, inviting your breath in and out through the nostrils, lips slightly sealed. Encouraging your breath to come into balance. And perhaps starting to implement your Ujjayi breath, breathing with sound, so you can hear and feel the texture of your breath smoothing out. And taking 2 more smooth cycles of breath. And dropping the chin lightly in toward your chest, your head toward your heart. And gently flutter the eyes open, and making your way into Child's Pose, Balasana, at the back of your mat. And settling your hips down and back toward your heels, and rest your forehead down toward the mat or on the mat there. So if it's not possible to rest that space between the eyebrows, just invite your hips to lift a little so you're able to make that connection. And taking a soft bend at the elbows so the forearms are down. And letting your body become easeful and gentle in this shape. And then just start to rock on your forehead side to side on your mat, starting to enliven your body with a gentle massage across your brow. And then creeping your fingertips forward, and then take your palms, your hands together into prayer, and take your prayer hands to the nape of your neck, bending at the elbows, and just walk your elbows forward a little so you feel a light stretch across the undercarriage of your arms. And you can experiment with dipping your right armpit down toward the floor to exaggerate that sensation of stretch. And then over to the other side, just gently leaning your left armpit down toward the floor. And then go ahead, walk your hands forward again, reach them to their end range, and then glide up onto all fours. And we'll just begin with some less structured movement, just being guided by the feeling. So what feels good for your spine, you might like to move through a few rounds of cat and cow, just gently arching and rounding the spine. Or you could try some circles through the spine, getting into the outer hips and ribs, or even barrel roll the spine. It's taking about 5 more breaths. And then rock yourself back to center. Make sure your wrists are underneath your shoulders and extend your right foot long. So right toes to the back edge of your mat, right leg long, and take a little rock forward and back. So your shoulders come forward of the wrists and then behind the wrists. Just check in with your hands, making sure that all your fingers are spread and you're making full contact with the mat. Right thighs lifting up in space, your hips feel level, your abdominals lightly engaged. And then just rock yourself back to this one-footed plank and lift and bend your left knee, pointing the toes toward the ceiling. So as you do that, the knees line up and the base of your glutes and hamstrings switch on. And then take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, left knee taps down to the floor, and then as you exhale, lift up so your knees are level, and then repeat. And we'll do a few more here. So a little bit stronger, we're going to push the floor away with your hands, make just a little bit more space between the floor and your collarbones. Eye gaze is gently forward and your throat is open. And as you breathe in, just land the left knee now underneath your hip, and shift your right hand over into your right lane a little bit more. Balancing on your right hand. As you inhale, raise your left hand up toward the side or the ceiling. Gently open up through the torso. And then as you exhale, take a twist. Thread your left arm underneath your right. And land down on your left shoulder, left side cheek. You can tense your right fingers for balance here. Just find a comfortable space where you can breathe into the middle and upper back. Your jaw soft. Your breath steady. And as you breathe in, swim your left hand all the way up toward the ceiling. Reach out. And as you exhale, place your left hand back to the mat to switch sides. Left leg extends long, and then just take that little rock forward and back, shoulders beyond the wrists and then behind the wrists. Maintaining that total body awareness, noticing that your abs are not spilling here, and your left thigh is engaged. And then find your one-footed plank here and raise your right knee and toes so they point up toward the ceiling, feeling your hamstrings. And then tap the knee down to the floor, and as you exhale, lift. So just move in slow motion so you can feel that activity in your low back and your buttocks. And just 2 more here. And setting your right knee down underneath your hip, preparing to twist. Left hand's going to be your foundation. You might like to move it over to the left a little bit more. Right hand reaches up toward the ceiling as you breathe in. Lean the torso back. And then as you exhale, thread the needle, sending your right arm underneath your left and coming down onto your right shoulder, right side cheek. So your head's resting. Take 3 deep breaths. And reversing now, reach your right hand skywards. And as you exhale, right hand to the floor, stepping out to a plank pose now. So just nice and long and strong in the body, and then send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Just here for a beat, you can lean your heels nice and heavy there, chest back toward your thighs. And we'll take 3 half flows. Rippling forward to a high push-up here, belly nice and firm, and then just soften the knees toward the floor, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Twice more, rippling forward and reversing back. Nice fluid movement through your spine as you come forward, light bend in the knees as you move back. Forward to a high push-up now. As you breathe in, keep the gaze forward and lower your knees, chest and chin all the way down to the floor. And then walk your hands off the side edges of your mat, take them a little forward of your shoulders and tense your fingers, and we'll peel up for a cobra pose. So legs nice and strong, pubic bone pressing down into the mat as you gently arc up. And then exhale, peel down. Just keep moving with your breath so it feels soothing. Peeling up, staying comfortable in your low back as you move. Feeding your chest through your arms. And then melt all the way down to the floor. Slide the hands back by your ribs and glide up onto all fours and return to your downward facing dog. Just here for a beat, we're going to bend the knees and walk our hands back to our feet at the back edge of your mat. Placing your feet hip distance apart, landing the heels there. And with a deep bend in your knees, just swim the hands behind the back, interlace your fingers. And take an easy forward fold, draping your torso over your thighs. And letting the crown of your head turn down toward the floor. And the fists draw up toward the ceiling. Shoulder heads lift up and away from the mat, just freeing the neck and the head to cascade down. And releasing the hands to the floor, walk back out to your downward facing dog, and as you walk your hands forward, keep the heels nice and heavy. And then re-bend the knees. Now walk to the front edge of your mat. Taking little steps or a larger leap. Feet come hip distance apart. When you arrive, just slide the hands up to your shins. Lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Moving gently, rise all the way to stand, reaching your arms overhead. Stand a little taller when you arrive. And exhale, hands to your heart center. Reach your arms overhead as you breathe in. Take your right hand to your left wrist and take a standing lateral stretch, just a nice side bend over to your right. Breathe in, stand tall, reach the arms toward the ceiling. Switch the hands and take a side bend to your left. Breathe in, come back to center, keeping that light engagement through the belly. As you exhale, forward fold over your legs. Breathing in, look forward, coming up halfway. As you breathe out, fingertips down, lunge your right leg back to runner's lunge, so your right knee stays up off the floor. And take a few breaths here. Left knee's over your ankle and you're on the balls of your right toes. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, tap your right knee down to the floor and then lift it back up. So we'll do that a few more times. Gently stretching into the front of your right thigh, hip flexors. And then place your right knee down on the floor. When you're steady and ready, reach your arms for a low lunge. Keeping that light engagement through the abdominal muscles so the hip points lift. And then as you breathe out, just swim the arms back in a nice wide arc and circle. And then gently lean the torso forward, reach the arms forward, and we'll do 2 more big circles like that. So you're just finding your own range of motion in the arms. So circles could be quite exaggerated or a little smaller. And then taking the fingertips down either side of your front foot, go ahead, step forward to the top edge of your mat. When you arrive, feet are hip width, halfway lift as you breathe in. Exhale and forward fold. Rise all the way to stand. On your in-breath, reach tall, rooting down through your feet. And then hands to your heart center. We'll go the second side, arms reach up, breathe in. Right hand, left wrist, side bend to your right, reach out and over, keeping the chest open. Inhale back to center, side bend to your left. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Breathing in, looking up, opening through the throat, the chest. Exhale, fingertips down, left foot lunges back, runner's lunge. Take a few moments to refine your shape. Chest is open, low belly's firm. And then just lower and tap your left knee to the floor and lift. You're just moving quite slow. Moving with your breath. Left knee down to the floor now, setting up for low lunge. Your arms reach up. Find your steadiness, so you're plugging down through the sole of your right foot and heel, and then backstroke your arms behind you in a wide circle, then lightly tip forward through your torso as your arms reach forward. 2 more circles just like that. Spreading through your fingers, your palms as you move, just flowing with your breath. Eyes down, hands down, frame your front foot, stepping quietly back, downward facing dog. Ripple forward to your high push-up or take a flow. You can take a half flow or knees, chest, chin, come all the way to the floor. Move through a back bend of your choice. Bhujangasana or upward facing dog. Slow out breath, return to downward facing dog. Breathe in deeply. And full, complete out breath. And take 2 more cycles, taking 2 more cycles of breath. A light bend in the knees, gaze forward between your hands. And the end of your exhale, step lightly up to the top edge of your mat. Bring your feet hip distance apart. Breathing in, coming up halfway. Breathing out, forward fold. Rise on your in-breath. Your arms can sweep out and then up toward the ceiling, stand tall. Exhale, hands to your heart center. We're going to link our thumbs and space our fingers. Take a big arch up and back as your arms go up. On your exhale, deep bend in the knees. Float the hands behind your back. Interweave all your fingers and fold. Take an extra breath when you arrive. So deeply bend the knees here. Comfortable stretch through the shoulders. Release the hands to your shins now. Halfway lift, look forward. As you breathe out, fingertips down, right leg lunging back. Find your runner's lunge. Take a deep breath in here. And as you exhale, your right knee to the floor. Keep the fingertips down here. As you breathe in, lift the hips and work towards straightening both legs. So you're just pulsing the hips. And as you breathe out, back to your low lunge. So your fingertips stay down and you're just working between the two, pulsing the hips up, working towards straightening the front leg, the back leg. And then exhale back to your low lunge. Once more. And then land down in your low lunge. And coming into a simple twist. Your right hand stays down, left hand reaches to the sky. And then keep it moving, just circle your left arm back, and we'll take 3 large circles through the left arm. Gaze can be down toward your right hand or up, and just follow your fingertips there on the left hand. And both hands to the floor, stepping up lightly, top edge of the mat, feet placed hip width apart. Take a halfway lift, breathe in, and exhale, forward fold. Rise to stand, arms reach up and overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Link the thumbs, space the fingers, big arch up and back as you breathe in. Shoulder stretch as you breathe out, hands behind the back, deep bend in the knees, forward fold. Take an extra breath, fill up. And exhale here. Release the hands, halfway lift. Hands can come to the shins or fingertips to the floor. On your exhale, fingertips down, left leg lunges back to runner's lunge. Deep breath in here. Exhale, back knee to the floor. And then pulse your hips, both legs straighten here, hips lift and fold in this pyramid variation. Then alternate between the two, back to your low lunge and then pulse to pyramid. And you might not fully straighten the front leg, you're just finding a stretch that feels comfortable in your body, your feet are active. And then land back down with your back knee on the floor. For your simple twist, your right hand to the sky now. And then just keep rolling, circling the right arm back, down, forward and up. 2 more large circles through your right arm. You might feel more comfortable to raise the left knee or keep it down on the floor. Just finding that space in your body that feels good. Hands to the floor, stepping back quietly, downward facing dog. You can pause here or take a half flow or a full flow, rippling forward to a high push-up. Drop the knees, the chest and chin to the floor. And arcing up for your Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pause, take rest, reconnect with your breath. Feeling your arms and legs actively engaged here. And try to avoid your eyes starting round. Either close the eyes or fix your gaze. Taking one more smooth cycle of breath. End of your exhale, bend the knees, look forward between the thumbs and either step or lightly hop forward, top edge of the mat. Bring your feet hip distance apart. Halfway lift as you breathe in. Exhale, forward fold. Rise all the way to stand, reach your arms tall, stand tall. Exhale, hands to your heart center. So our last warm-up round, we'll thread it all together with our breath. Take a deep breath in, arms overhead, starting with our side stretch, right hand, left wrist, side bend to your right. Breathe in, back to center. Nice firm core, switch the hands, side bend your left. Come back to center, press your palms. Nice firm belly, hands to the heart. Link your thumbs, space your fingers, take a big arch up and back. Exhale for your shoulder stretch, hands swim behind your back, interweave your fingers, forward fold. Release the hands to your shins, halfway lift, look forward. Exhale, fingertips down, right foot lunges back to runner's lunge. Stay here. On your inhale, right knee to the floor. And on your exhale, lift and pulse the hips to a pyramid. Both legs straighten. Inhale, back to your low lunge. Get steady here on your legs, lower body, and reach the arms. And then continue to circle your arms back behind you. Nice wide circle, just one here. Gently tipping forward, reach the arms forward. Land your right hand on your way for a simple twist. The left hand to the sky. And then circle your arm back to the floor, and we'll step up, top edge of the mat. When you arrive, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Rise on your in-breath. Hands to your heart on your out-breath. Last side, and then a rest. Arms overhead, breathe in. Side stretch. Right hand to your left wrist. Side bend your right. Back to center. Just keep moving with your breath. Breathe deep. Side bend, lateral stretch to your left. Stand a little taller, straighter in the middle. And then hands to your heart center. Link your thumbs. Space your fingers. Big arch up and back. Shoulders stretch as your hands sweep behind you. Interlace your fingers and forward fold. Release your hands. Halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Lunge your left foot back. Runner's lunge. Take a long stride. Stay for your exhale. Inhale your left knee down to the floor. Pause here on your fingertips and then pulse to your pyramid. Both legs working towards straight. Inhale. Low lunge, left knee to the floor and your arms rise when you're steady. Reach and circle your arms back behind you. Then lightly tip forward, land your left hand here on your way. Simple twist, right hand to the sky now. Circle your right arm back. Hands to the floor and take a vinyasa, stepping quietly back, downward facing dog. Either pause and rest here or ripple through a vinyasa. High to low push-up, upward dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. Just here for a beat. As you breathe out, take the knees to the floor, your buttocks rest to your heels. Child's pose, 5 to 8 breaths. And again, if you can make that connection with your head on the mat, your hips slightly raised if you need to, the elbows can bend. Encourage and invite a softness in your body, across the shoulders, jaw, and the expression in your face. And then when you're ready, gliding up onto all fours and make your way back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Gentle pedal out through the heels. Position your hands shoulder width apart. Close up the air pockets underneath your hands. And then just walk the toes together. Raise your right leg up and back as you breathe in, nice and slow, steady. Core lunge in the air, right knee in toward your nose, round the spine. Inhale, right leg high, down dog splits. Right foot steps forward now, in between your hands. Just pause, you're in your runner's lunge. Go ahead, walk a quarter turn to your left here for spread leg forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. Fingertips underneath the shoulders, heels angle out, big toes angling in. Take a halfway lift here. We'll progressively make our way into a fold here. Exhale, fold just a little, keeping the legs nice and firm. Inhale, lift up a little. Exhale, fold a little deeper. Breathe in, heart forward, flat back. And exhale to fold and hold. 3 deep breaths. Breathe in. Keep that rhythm to your breath, even cadence. Legs firm. Weight lightly tipping forward from your heels to your toes. On your in-breath, lift up halfway. Gaze is forward. Exhale, hands to the hips. Nice firm belly there underneath your fingertips. Come all the way up. Torso upright, warrior 2. Right toes turn forward, left toes turn in. You keep your wide stride. And then as you arrive here, just refine your shape. Tailbone lengthening down. an elegant length to the sides of your waist. Feeling of broadness across your chest. Gaze is steady out over your right middle finger. And keeping both your back leg and your back heel nice and grounded and strong. As you breathe in, float the arms up overhead, straighten your right leg and flex your foot so your right toes come up off the floor. And as you exhale, return to your warrior two. We'll just flow like that twice more. If it's uncomfortable, just keep your foot on the floor. Inhale, reach the arms, straighten the legs. Exhale, warrior two. Breathe in, reach up. Exhale, warrior two. Reverse your warrior now, and as you go, straighten your right leg. Reach up and back, find your lateral stretch. Comfortable position for your head. Next breath out, windmill both hands to the floor. Stepping quietly back, downward facing dog. High push up as you breathe in. Low push up as you breathe out. Keep moving with your breath. Rejuvenating, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Second side coming up. Step the toes together, left leg rising as you breathe in. Core lunge in the air, hug in and up through the belly. Inhale, down dog splits. As you exhale, left foot forward in between your hands, just pause, you're in a runner's lunge. Walk a quarter turn around to your right. Angle your toes toward the long edge of the mat, heels slightly out. And then on your fingertips, lift up halfway, breathe in. Exhale, fold a little, dropping the head. Twice more, just breathing in, lifting, opening. Exhale, folding a little deeper. Breathe in, lift. Exhale, fold and hold it here. If your hands are a long way off the floor, just catch opposite elbows, make the shape work for your body. Light micro bend in the knees might help there. Otherwise, you're nice and strong through the front of your legs without locking your knees back. Spine's cascading down with the weight of your head. Release your hands to the floor, halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, hands to the hips, rise all the way to stand, preparing for your warrior two on the left side. Left toes point to 12 o'clock there. And sink into your warrior two. The hips can descend down, the inner thighs stretch toward your knees. Your right pinky toe fully anchored on the floor. And then find your steady gaze, your center point. Give everything a bit of length and space. And then we just flow, arms reach up. Your left leg straightens and perhaps you just roll up onto the heel of the left foot. Exhale, land the foot, rebend the knee, warrior two. Twice more, inhale. Completely optional there with the heel. I find if you have a skinnier mat, it's a little more uncomfortable. Inhale, reach the arms. And exhale, land in your warrior two. Next breath in, you're going to reverse your warrior and straighten your left leg as you go. Reach up and back. Wriggle the left fingers and reach a little further. And then windmill the hands to the floor. Stepping quietly back, downward facing dog. So just moving gracefully, rippling forward, high push up. Exhale, low push up. Each breath the same length, upward dog or cobra. Just savor the in-breath. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pause and rest. We've got about 5 to 8 breaths. If it feels right for you, take your knees to the floor, buttocks to the heels, and rest a little closer toward the floor. And just feeling a fullness of your breath around the ribs, Your breath emptying the pit of your belly so it feels hollow. And if you've been in child's pose, returning to your downward facing dog. No rush, just taking your unhurried breath with you. And when you're ready, right leg rising, breathing in. One core lunge in the air here, make it count. Push into the hands, drop forward knee to nose. Inhale, down dog splits. Exhale, stepping forward, warrior two. Right foot now in between your hands. Left heel anchors. Bring yourself upright, arms to a T. And we'll flow our arms up, straighten your right leg. You can flex the toes there if it feels good. Return to your warrior two as you breathe up. Inhale, reverse your warrior now, and you can straighten the front leg or keep it bent, just whatever feels good in your body. And then coming into side angle, so do rebend that front knee if you had it straight. Rest your forearm onto your right thigh. Reach your left arm up and overhead. If it's too strong for your back, just send the left hand to 12 o'clock, straight up toward the ceiling. And just notice if there's a trough in your low back. And if there is, just lift the front of the hip points up, try and smooth out through your low back. So you just maintain that natural curvature, light engagement through your abdominals. You feel length through the sides of your waist. Your feet feel anchored. Your breath feels smooth. We've got 3 more breaths. Feel free to go a little deeper, maybe a half bind. Just reach your right hand down toward your ankle or the floor. Keep the belly button pointing out toward the side edge of your mat. And then left hand lands to the floor, gaze down, stepping back to downward facing dog. And take a flow or take a rest. High to low push-up. Upward dog or cobra, just keeping an integrity in all the shapes, in your transitions, downward facing dog. Good job. Second side. Left leg rising, inhale. Core lunge in the air, on your exhale, squeeze in. Breathe in, down dog splits. Left foot forward, warrior two. Give yourself a long, deep stride there, arms to a T. Really feel your feet, drop anchors into your feet. And then as you breathe in, reach the arms up and just peel the left toes up off the floor. And as you exhale, land them down again, back to your warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior, reach up and back. And as you exhale, Parsvakonasana, side angle pose. Forearm to your knee or come a little deeper. It's whatever shape you make with your body, make sure you don't interrupt your breath. Just really prioritize that smooth, steady, even rhythm to your breath. Maintaining that total body awareness. Noticing the shape of your low back spine. Feeling tone in your right leg. Going just a little deeper, last 3 breaths here if you'd like to. Just continue to move in a way that feels nourishing for you today in this moment. Eyes down, land your hands, take a vinyasa, stepping quietly back and lowering slow. Back bend of your choice. Downward facing dog. And 5 smooth breaths. And if you've got a sigh, just let it out of your mouth. We begin to slow down just a little now. Notice how your downward dog feels here after moving. Hopefully a little bit more spacious, your breath a little freer, your body enlivened. Reaching your right leg up and back now, down dog splits. We're going to prepare for pigeon. Take a core lunge in between, right knee in toward your nose. Inhale, reach up and back. And now right knee to the back of your right hand. Lower the hips, stretch out long through the left leg. And just tent your fingers so you can arrange your shape. Maybe even grab a prop underneath your right buttocks to help position your hips so they feel level. And then just slowly creep the hands forward. You might like to come down onto your forearms or reach your arms forward, just depending on your flexibility. So try and make a shape that works for your body. And if you have sensitive knees here, a Z-leg shape, right angles at the legs could work. Keeping the torso leaning forward. If your head's hovering from the floor, you might like to stack your fists. So your head, that space between the eyebrows, can rest and connect into your hands. Taking a few moments to really tune in to where you can feel sensation. Feel the temperature of the stretch. And just noticing the very subtle changes as you linger. And taking 5 more smooth breaths. And then just slowly walk your hands back. If you did have the blanket underneath your buttocks, just shifting it out and leaning down into your right buttocks to sweep your left leg around to the front of the room. And we'll set up for a twist. Point your right knee up toward the ceiling, and your right foot can sit either by your left knee or draw your heel toward your right sit bone. If you're a little bit more spacious and twisty, and then position your right fingertips behind you. Send your left hand up toward the sky. As you breathe out, you can hinge your elbow there to the outside of your right knee, or simply hug your knee and prioritize the shape of your spine, long and tall, so you don't feel like you need to lean back to twist. So keeping your belly firm, just gently rotating through your middle and upper back, and then turn the gaze out over your right shoulder, making sure you're not straining in the neck, overturning the head. And then return to center. Your gaze falls forward. Bend both knees. Take your feet to the floor and take your hands behind you. So a little bend in the elbows, setting up for tabletop, pushing into your feet, into your hands to lift the undercarriage of your body up, making that tabletop shape. You might like to keep your gaze forward there, out over your body, or if it's comfortable for your neck, just gently start to tip the head back and gaze up or back. Just notice if you're peeling off the soles of your feet, try and keep all 10 toes down. And then just gently land down onto the soft part of your buttocks. And we'll move into boat pose. So you can slip the hands behind the back of your knees here as you raise the legs into a right angle. And then lift tall through your spine as if you're trying to balance something on your chest. So chest lifts up. And then you might like to reach your arms there in your half boat Ardha Navasana, or stay holding on. You're strengthening your spinal muscles either side of the spine and improving the strength in your abdominal core here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, cross your legs, your right leg in front of your left leg. Walk over your legs if you can. Step back, downward facing dog. We'll skip a vinyasa here. Just pedal out through your heels. Anchor your hands. Drop your head, maybe give it a little shake. And then second side, left leg rising, breathe in. Core lunge in the air as you exhale. Inhale, reach the left leg up and back. As you exhale, come into your pigeon pose, left knee to the back of your left hand. Right leg extends out long. Tent the fingers and just refine your shape. And if you do have sensitive knees, that option of Z legs pigeon, right angles at the legs is a really sensible option here. Just make sure that your torso is leaning forward so you're not putting pressure in the SI joint. And if you are tighter in the hips, the heel can come quite close in toward the pelvis. Left toes flex. And then walk yourself forward any amount. And take about 5 deep breaths. I'd like to play with a longer out breath. It's just a way of clearing out. And gently peeling back up. If you had a blanket underneath your left sit bone, just sliding it out so you can sit down on the left buttock, sweep the right leg around to the front, right toes flex toward the ceiling, your left knee bends, and we set up for our twist, left fingertips behind us now, right hand to the sky, breathe in, really pressing into your sit bone so you can find a little bit more lift, and then right arm either to the outside of the left knee or just in front of your shin there. Just notice how your twist feels on this side. Try not to be in a rush to turn your head or your gaze. Just letting the twist spiral up your spine. So you're moving in a mindful way through your twist as you breathe. And taking one more deep breath in. Exhale, release, and either returning to your tabletop or keeping both legs out straight here, move into East Pose, Pursvottanasana, straight leg version or reverse plank. Hands come behind you and go ahead, lift the hips. So you should be able to feel, without tensing, your buttocks engage, in front of your shoulders, your arms stretching, the soles of your feet stretching down toward the floor. Maybe dropping your head back if it feels comfortable. Nice counter pose for all the push-ups that we do. Deep breath in. Exhale, slowly lower down. We'll make our way into boat, and you might like to do full boat, full Navasana, 2 straight legs, or come back to that variation, supported if you like, half boat, with your arms extended, just whatever feels good, what you have energy and effort for here toward the end of your practice. Lifting the low ribs up out of the hips, grow a little taller. And from here, just land your feet down, straighten your legs out. We'll take a forward fold. Feet can come about hip width apart here. Arms reach up, breathe in. Paschimottanasana, forward fold, nice counter pose. Breathing out. And if your hands don't quite reach your feet, just land your hands either side of your legs. And then as if you're trying to move your hands back, you can bring your chest forward so you're not actually moving the hands, getting that isometric movement to help propel your chest forward. And then just soften through your upper body, feel the shoulders melting, your expression soften. And then very gently release. We're going to come down onto our backs from here. When you arrive, just tuck the knees in toward your chest. Rock side to side. Feel into the low back. And letting your head rest. And your body rock. And then taking both feet to the floor to set up for a bridge pose. Taking your arms alongside your body and walking your heels in toward your buttocks, feet hip width apart, and slightly angle in your big toes so you feel a little pigeon-toed there. As you breathe in, take your right arm overhead, raising your hips and gently turning your gaze to your left, rolling on the back of your head. Breathing out, lower your hips and your arm to the floor. Inhaling now, left arm overhead, lifting your hips, turning your gaze to your right. And on your exhale, hips and arms lower. And now both arms now up overhead, lift the hips, keeping your thighs parallel. And then when the back of your hands land on the floor behind you, just bend your elbows. Give yourself a little bit more space and keep the hips lifting, thighs parallel, feet anchored. Breathe deep into your chest. And on your out breath, just lower everything down to the floor, bring the hands forward. Nice. And gather the knees in toward your chest. Press your low back into the mat. Let your body rock side to side. So we have a few more minutes here. If you have an inversion practice and you'd like to practice your inversion, we can do that here. I'm going to demonstrate just a very gentle version that you can take. And if you do have a blanket handy, it's a really nice variation. Taking the blanket underneath your buttocks and just sending the legs straight up toward the ceiling. As an alternative, you might like to come into a headstand or a shoulder stand flow where you would come into plow, then shoulder stand, back to plow, and complete that sequence with fish pose. So if that makes sense to you here at the end of your practice, just moving in your own way. And if you're with me, your legs are straight up toward the ceiling, perhaps supported there, or your buttocks just on the floor and your legs reaching up. Kick up through your heels, let your toes curl back toward your face, even if you have a nice little micro bend in the knees. Find any comfortable position with your arms. And if you're in this shape, just gently close your eyes. And if you're taking any other variation, please keep your gaze steady without turning your head in your inversion. Make all your movements slow and intentional. nice way to refine your inversion is to remember, as we do when we're standing upright, is to press what you have in contact with the mat. And this gives you a little bit more lightness and buoyancy, and brings stability to your foundation. And wherever you're at, just taking 3 more slow breaths. Those of you following me, your legs up, just bend the knees and take the feet to the floor there. And taking your feet wide to the edges of the mat. If you've been in a headstand, child's pose to counter pose. If you've been in shoulder stand, fish pose to counter pose, or a twist. And just windshield wipering the legs now, left to right, to loosen out through the low back. And give yourself the sense that you've just landed back on your mat. So we have the last few minutes here, and ideally you have time to just simply rest now in Shavasana or seated meditation. So important at the end of your practice to really integrate all the benefits of your practice and really just gift yourself this time to rest, recharge, and digest your practice. If you're laying down, palms face up to the side of your body, taking up all the space around you, separating the legs. And just really allow yourself to rest back here. Releasing any holding or gripping in your body, any restraint. Also releasing any stress or doubt, anxiety. Just feel your own lightness of being. And let that permeate your whole body here at the end of your practice. Feel your own life-giving breath without effort. And feel your body melting, relaxing into the support beneath you, letting go. And just acknowledging and reminding yourself that through practice you can feel calm, relaxed, and at ease for the benefit of yourself and for those around you. And just taking the next minute to lay quietly, soak in the essence of your practice. And very gently guiding your awareness back, breathing a deeper breath, filling your whole body with your breath. Wriggling the fingers, the toes, gently bending the knees, taking your feet to the floor if you're laying back there. Rolling to your right side, just take a few moments there. Let your eyes open, taking the light of your room. Slowly drag yourself all the way back up to sit. And I hope you've enjoyed this practice today, that you feel rejuvenated, brighter and lighter. Thanks for joining me. Namaste.